get right onto this because we're only like a minute or two away now. As you guys know, as you can tell from the title right here, Tim Pool is having Kanye West, Milo Yiannopoulos, and Nick Fuentes on his show. This is going to be one of the biggest episodes. I didn't know if I was going to be doing an episode tonight, but I have to do it now because of this. Like, this is so big right here. All right, and before it starts, I'm your host, Ray. Welcome to the Ray Infinity Show podcast, everyone. Like I said before, I'm your host, Ray, but I'm really, really excited right here. Like, this episode is going to be effing huge. It's getting ready to start any moment now. We're getting ready for this bad boy. Getting ready for this bad boy to start. Come on. I'm waiting for this. Sorry, guys. I'm just way too excited for this. Like, this is happening right now. This episode, I'm just going to be having fun and all. That is literally all this episode is going to be. So, yeah. Oh, it's getting too hot in here. I'm going to turn my fan on. Ah! It's starting, guys. Here we go. She's starting up. Woohoo! Yeah. And like, guys, sorry, I had to play that Tim Pool song, Genocide. Like, it's so good. Like, I had to play it right here, right now. Like, this is so good, guys. Like, yeah.
I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. You were with your families or loved ones, or at least
this is gonna be huge.
Relaxed and enjoyed yourself.
Woohoo!
Over the past week, there was a particularly big news story that's resulted in a continued news cycle, which is now going on for over a week, which is in many ways unheard of. But right now, because Donald Trump went to dinner with Ye and Nick Fuentes, among others, he is now being denounced by Mike Pence, several Republican senators, and for whatever reason, this story, for many reasons, I suppose people have made, this story has persisted till today. And we are able to actually sit down with several of the individuals involved in that story, notably Ye, Nick Fuentes, and Milo Yiannopoulos, of course, who made the dinner happen. It's my understanding, or at least got the.
I had the dinner invite before I met Milo.
Okay, my bad. There you go. So we're gonna jump right into this story. I just overcomplicated it. Absolutely. So we're gonna start with that. And there's a lot we want to talk about.
This is already great.
You know what, man? This is a very big story.
It's already
a lot of people have questions about, what were Trump's intentions, why were certain people invited, and Trump, of course, has issued statements. So a lot of people want to know where he stands, and more importantly, what happened there and why. And there's also the questions about what Ye 24 means, and I'll keep that a little bit vague so that they can answer to that and speak more to that. And then, of course, we're going to get into a lot of different issues. However, head over to timcast.com and become a member. We're going to have a members-only uncensored show, which will probably get a bit more in-depth on a lot of other issues. That I'll just leave it at that. Timcast.com, become a member, support our work, and we'll talk about more there. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, Metal Uplift, thanks for showing by, brother.
Joining us, as I mentioned, is we have Ye himself. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
You did it.
There you go. I think everyone knows who you are. And which of you gentlemen would like to introduce yourself?
Nicholas, please.
Hi. Yeah, I'm Nick Fuentes, first time here on the Timcast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What do you do?
Oh, I'm a live streamer. I do a show called America First on cozy.tv.
All right. And of course, Milo, you were here a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I'm your best ever guest.
So we've been told that the episode with you is one of the best podcasts ever. People really enjoyed hearing you speak.
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for coming back.
Thanks. I was wondering how I was going to make it even more extraordinary the second time I visited, but I think I might have pulled it off.
Luke's here.
Total Sausage Fest tonight. Welcome. My name is Luke Radowski of wearechange.org. Today I'm wearing my Didn't Epstein himself t-shirt, which you can get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And I think we should be using that word a little bit more, just like, this YouTube channel didn't Epstein itself. And if this YouTube channel is Epsteined, we will be streaming on Twitter. I started the t-shirt company after YouTube demonetized me. So
Metal Uplift, if you want to hop on too, you can.
And of course, Serge,
if you want to hop on the video, just let me know. Just send me your email and I'll send you.
I'll just pull up this story from the Hill, which is from earlier today, 5 p.m. Pence says Trump should apologize. It's wrong to give anti-Semite a seat at the table. This, of course, is related to a dinner that happened, and I was wrong a little on the details. So a dinner happened Nick, you were there. Yay, you were there. I just want to start off by how did this dinner come to happen, and what happened?
Yeah, I want to hear what he
I
has
was
to
talking
say.
to Trump for about a month. We had scheduled the dinner in October, and then he announced for president. He pushed the dinner back to November.
Yeah.
And I've been pulling together a campaign. And after I put up the DEF CON tweet, a bunch of people that have been canceled, like Alex Jones,
Everyone, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel right here. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel.
And
we need and share
Alex
this video
Jones,
with everyone so we can get this
Milo
even bigger.
wanted to
Share it with
contact
your
me.
friends, please. We need to
And
get this much bigger.
Here we
than
are.
It is.
So that's how you guys got in contact.
Yeah, originally, and then I suggested that we bring in Nicholas as a enormous extra brain firepower that he is. He's most extraordinarily brilliant political commentator of this generation. And he's been treated just about as badly as anybody. So I thought he deserved to be in the room too. And
this is I love this already. I love it.
So I have some questions about that, but we'll get through the dinner portion of how exactly this happened, what went down. So this is how you get in contact, the three of you. How is it that Nick ends up invited to this dinner?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well, he was rolling with me. I was impressed with Nick, and I was like, just come to the dinner. And we had Karen Giorno pick us up from the airport.
Now it makes sense why Trump was caught off guard when they all showed up.
Jamar Montgomery that was with us. It's he's an engineer at Boeing, and his
I'm telling him just we should raise everyone's volume.
Okay, cool. And we sat there, and it was like when Trump came in, I said, do you want to sit alone? He's like, no, bring your friends in. So a big thing is that Trump had no idea who Nick Fuentes was. But this whole, I just got to go right to the heart of this anti-Semite claim that's happening. This is something, if you read the definition, it says you can't claim that there's multiple people inside of banks or in media that are all Jewish, or you're anti-Semitic. And that's the truth. Like, it's the truth. What are we talking about? And
elaborate. What do you mean? You mean?
I'm saying, like, I've been labeled anti-Semite, right? So there's different beliefs about our bloodlines, like the documentary that Kyrie posted. And in general, America has been left ignorant and history has been changed. So when we start questioning things that question the indoctrination, then you immediately get, you said debanked or what did you say happened to you? Or
demonetized, deplatformed.
Demonized, demonetized. And what's so beautiful about this time is everyone got to see what's really been happening. And now we can really understand. We can see that Ron Emanuel was right next to Obama, and then Jared Kushner was right next to Trump.
But so we're getting right into it, I guess.
Oh,
right?
God.
I was hoping to go for the news.
We're getting right into it,
We're
getting right into it.
I think the issue is one way to put it is you're expounding upon a localization issue that you've witnessed, right? Let me clarify. There are a handful of people that you see are Jewish in a certain place, and then you associate Judaism with the power, whereas I view that as not relevant to it. Like, yeah, you're substantially more powerful than I am, but I don't view what you're doing as an issue of Black people.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the term the Black vote? So it's okay to put us in one net, but it's not okay for me to put them in one net.
Yeah, but I mean,
That's the basis of the hypocrisy that people have been thinking about and knowing about and realizing for decades. We were all wondering how this dam was going to break. Everybody in the country was wondering what is the root of this hypocrisy? Why people talk about white people a certain way? Why can't they talk about that group a certain way? And the wretched and wicked and oppressive prevailing orthodoxy of cancel culture. Well, it turned out that the one thing that was going to break the dam was the biggest star in the world, and it took the biggest star in the world to do it. And now the dam is broken.
So let me tell you my issue. I don't like identitarianism. You guys are familiar with what that is?
Well, they started it, and they've been visiting on us. We're trying to break it.
When I was asking you about running for president, you immediately said, "Well, you'd be good for the black vote." And I said, "Is that because I'm black?" No, not just because of that. So is that? Are you doing the same thing?
I didn't say that was the only reason. I said it was because you're personable to the common person.
Wow.
And you probably would do well with the black vote. Absolutely.
Just because I'm black, because a lot of black people don't like me.
Of course. I think
you would appeal more to a lot of other people,
absolutely.
Though.
And I think that's for.
I think the construct of
there
race
are a lot of people that
has
would have
really been forced upon us as just something for us to be woke about and just constantly talk about and use it as these like walls.
Couldn't you say the same thing about Judaism?
Well, let's look at the facts of what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
If you say in this neighborhood where they gerrymander, there's this amount of time. So, hey, I wasn't doing that. I was just gerrymandering the lawyers and the executives and the people at the bank that debanked me and then froze my accounts. It's like we want to jump into protecting the idea that we can't put a net around something, right? But that's been my job as a producer to take, a Roy Ayers sample and put a James Brown drum and put it within a
I love this already
3-minute song. That's the way I actually think, and that's the way I talk. And now this morning I found out that they were trying to put me in prison.
What?
Because what they did was
put him in prison.
I moved $140 million into JP Morgan. And I said, I want to talk to Jamie Dimon. Like, look at me. I'm just going in naive, multi-billionaire. Like, maybe Jamie Dimon will let me in on some deal flow. Wrong. And I'm just like banging my hands like, I want to meet with Jamie. And I start complaining online. And then they debank me for complaining. And so I'm about to get debanked. They're like, you need to go to Trump's the bank, AXO, whatever, you got to go. And I'm like, I've been trying to buy my own bank for the longest. And then we figured out how to get my own bank. It's like 50 million, 75 million. So I'm about to buy my own bank, but then
buy your own
as
bank.
I'm about to take the money out, here comes Adidas with a $275 million bill for marketing funds that they agreed upon. Because I said to them, hey, I'm the marketing, give me the marketing fund, which proves by the response they got when they stole the designs and said, we're going to not call them Yeezys anymore. So this is what I was already fighting Adidas for. So I'm fighting Gap, get out of Gap, fighting Adidas. And then I deal with this little bit of noise from, Zionism from the fashion world, where they use this plant named Gabby, who's obviously like some kind of CIA agent, knows nothing about
going to be amazing.
This is a certain thing. When someone can't dress, that they're not like a fashion person. They're just there as like the society, like the control that they try to use with celebrities, which has now been broken, right? Because where it broke. Okay. I want to get on like LeBron in a second. But I'm going to come back to this and just talk about this morning heavy. Where, I'm not going to mention her name because she's a nice lady, but someone at Cohen Resnick tells me, and I tell all of my finance people, never use the term a lot. But they said, okay, you're going to have to pay a lot of taxes. And that made me feel like they're just like waiting, like we finally got them. We finally can put them in jail. And I was like, can I still run for president in jail? I found out I could. So I was like, okay, that's fine then.
Wow. Oh my God.
But if you were Jeffrey Epstein, they wouldn't touch your bank account. They would allow you to break the rules, regulations, just like JP Morgan and Chase did, just like Deutsche Bank did. So there is an issue to bring up with that. But when it comes to the race stuff, I think this is an important discussion to have because I
have to complete this thought. You guys got to.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, because I'm talking about literally finding out that they were trying to put me in prison this morning. Watch this. So
this morning.
Yes. So
you found out just
to my house this morning, but I found out, okay, so they put a $75 million hold on 4 of my accounts.
Oh
and
my
then they
God.
said, you owe a lot of taxes. Took me like 6 hours to find out how much a lot was. They said, well, around $50 million.
What?
Now I'm going to different CFOs like, okay, so would this be tax evasion? Because I'm obviously not the most financially literate person on the planet. I was just a child, basically. Like when you become famous, you stop growing at that point. I became famous at age 24 and I had handlers around. I had my mom around, different things. And it was always like you go from one handler to the next handler to the next handler. So now I'm having, I get to actually learn how to run a company. I get to learn how to, to count. Really, I was like Pablo in a movie. It was like I didn't even know where to put the money. Like, what are you making $300 million cash, but you're just like a high-priced. We're not going to use the S word just because it's just like too passe to use it. But it's like, next year I was supposed to make $500 million in royalties, and like no one needs this amount of money. But when I would work on homeless shelters and ideas, I'd have a contractor. We won't say what race. And
oh my God.
They'd be tearing down the contracts. It's all about, position. It's not about the amount of money that you have. And, to come in here, I feel like it's a setup to be like defending. I'm not going to go through another, like I'm literally going to walk the F off the show if I'm sitting up here having a, talk about, you can't say that it was Jewish people that did it, when every sensible person knows that. I mean, Jon Stewart knows what happened to me, and they took it too far. It was like American History X. Like my head was on the side of the curve, and the exact people that I called out kicked my head. We found out that my trainer was a MK Ultra Canadian intelligence.
He worked in the defense research and development in the Canadian military, essentially working on psyops.
Who's this
in the
guy?
Canadian military. This is Harley Pasternak.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, look, they tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They
100% they're metaloplate, 100%.
When I asked them how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly, it took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears too. I mean, look at
they would have Michael Jackson
or worse. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Look at what they did to Britney. When she went in, she was tired, she was exhausted, she was in a bad way. But 10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now. You can see there's not much of her left.
You mentioned Pasternak was the name?
Yes, Harley Pasternak. That's the text message that you posted that we were talking about before.
That's the lobotomy.
Yeah.
Before the show, obviously, I'm getting a bunch of messages from people. People are hitting me up, and they're like, "You shouldn't host them. They're anti-Semitic. They're white supremacists. They're racist." I do find the idea. I do find it funny or weird, whatever. That Nick, they call you a white supremacist. You're here working with or for one of the most powerful black men, one of the wealthiest and most famous, but. A lot of people were saying on the right specifically, don't platform them. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I want to understand what they're thinking and why they're thinking it. They're they're involved in what may be the biggest news story of the past week. And we have an opportunity to sit down and talk.
Because the red media controls both sides. It just said it as simple as possible. Jared Kushner was next to Trump. Ron Emanuel was next to Obama. But see, since 1940, go ahead.
I was gonna say, isn't that an issue of these individuals? Like you're extrapolating.
I'm going to order with the last of my money that's available in a different account. I'm going to order a PJ before I sit and have another Lex Friedman setup conversation. When I'm literally they're trying to put me in jail for my opinion. But I'm not going to have that opinion. I don't care about people. Those are bots that are trying to tell you. We realize, look at Pence. He sold Trump out. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I would have never wanted to do anything that hurt Trump. I'm on Trump's side. Trump said things that hurt me. He lied about me, but I mean, he's known for lying. And when people used to tell me that, he's a liar, it's like, I went into the trenches for Trump. That's another conversation. There was no one in my position that wore that hat. And all of my surroundings exhausted me. It was like death by 1,000 questions. I know I'm jumping to another thing, but what I'm saying is, I know you got a rep for your your people online, but it's you got a person in real life that I'm not with it, bro. I lost the money for the freedom of speech. That's what makes me the only
he lost a ton
American
of money
that
just
we
for
know
speaking
that
an opinion
really
of his.
deserves to
just
run
for
the
speaking
country.
his own opinion.
Everyone else,
Lost
your boy DeSantis, Trump, whoever they raise in a petri dish over on the Democrat side is going to play the game.
Look,
and
here's what I was trying to get to. You went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it.
But
I don't care about your opinion. I like your opinion on how we win an election, but I don't care about anybody's opinion, bro. I lost. They tried to put me in jail. They blocked $2 billion I had. Like what I told Farrakhan, I said, look, is it anti-Semitic if we say his name out loud? Like I told
minister.
Yeah, the minister. Like I told
Obama met with him too.
Oh, he was.
Oh,
yeah,
he did.
I mean, the Jewish people allowed Obama to meet with the minister. So Farrakhan said, well, did he have the money? The contract for the next 4 years, if I hadn't done anything, would have been $500 million a year for 4 years. What I was fighting for was the IP, so my children could I'm sorry, sometimes I think about 7 thoughts at one time, because anything I see, I come up with like 7 answers to it and then just choose what it is. But the thing is, when I said my children, the reason why my brain kind of blocked, because it's like God is saying, your children are going to be okay. Baby mama's got money, right? God is using me. He's breaking me down.
I love this episode. I love it.
Richest person, all of this, so I can serve him.
I love this episode. The
more and more those things are taken away from me, the more I can be empty and be a vessel and be able to be used. And right now, it's like, you're not going to take, if we can't, you're not going to take my pain away, right? The Jewish people say, it's the Holocaust, this happened, and you can't say anything about it. We can't take their pain away.
Wow.
No one's going to denounce the fact that they tried to lock me up. That's what, because every time
there's no defending that whatsoever.
Like, I thought I was more Malcolm X, but I find out I'm more MLK, because as I'm getting hosed down every day by the press and financially, I'm just standing there.
Did he actually say
when
that?
I found out that they tried to put me in jail, it was like a dog was biting my arm, and I almost shed a tear, almost, but I still walked in stride through it. Yeah,
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who is they though? We can't say who they is.
Corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you
he
guys
said
use.
that.
I'm talking
it is
about
them though, isn't it? I mean, because because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about?
Oh, God.
Are you leaving?
Who's leaving?
Are you referring to the press?
He's gone.
Huh?
I'll say it right now.
Something's going on, guys.
You guys, you guys want to bring that stuff up?
Someone just came in.
And
Who is it?
Not gonna have a conversation.
Like have the discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider it? So I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
Make sure he's cool.
All right, go for it.
Kanye left.
Conversation.
Kanye left, guys.
I can't
he
say
left.
I'm surprised.
Holy
what do I even do?
He left.
Other than ask him, please elaborate on this. Are you referring to individuals, or are you quite literally blaming an entire group of people for the fact that powerful individuals are causing you harm?
I really wanted to ask Nick about his thoughts about MLK, because I know they contradict his comments about that. But again, these are mass generalizations that don't really help anyone in my perspective. They just kind of sound like their opposition. They sound like they're kind of going against the woke mob that's always saying white men are responsible for everything.
So
when I see people just use generalizations, it kind of cheapens the conversations. It cheapens a dialogue that we could have here that I was planning to talk to Ye about, specifically bringing up like, hey, let's actually talk about this in a real concise way. Let's not get emotional. Let's not walk out of here. Let
me tell all you guys outright. I said, this is going to be a big issue. Before the show, obviously, people are going to bring up the questions of anti-Semitism.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Why don't we talk about the news? I want to hear what happened with this meeting. I want to understand what Ye 24 is. And then we can do a longer conversation about any of that stuff. And Ye literally in the first 5 minutes says, no, I want to talk about a group of people and point to them. Whatever, man. You want to know why? Look, you're not going to sit here and you're going to walk out of the room. You're free to do so, man. But literally, I said a couple sentences about, I don't think that's fair. Did I insult the man? He seriously can't handle. He can't handle it.
He also left during the Pierce Morgan interview he did, but he came back. So again, we should be able to have this conversation. What's up, Chris? Oh, yeah.
Look, man, I wanted to talk to these guys about why they're meeting with Trump.
Chris.
I want to know what happened with the dinner, because we hear a lot of rumors about it.
I want to hear about their 2024 platform, which they were promising, which they were talking about, like they're going to be.
Oh my God!
Let me explain
this. This is huge, guys. This is huge.
Unfortunate they walked out. Fine, maybe they'll come back. Whatever. This is the biggest challenge with dealing with identitarianism. I do not believe that the determinant factor in someone's worth, value, or agenda is based on immutable characteristics. Kanye is a black man. He does not represent all black people. There are Jewish individuals who work in banks. Dave Chappelle made the joke about Jewish people in Hollywood. And he said, but it doesn't mean anything. You got a lot of black people in Ferguson, doesn't mean they run the place. The point is, I'm all about individualism, meritocracy, personal responsibility. That means an individual of any background can be capable of anything. More importantly, we have employees here who are Jewish, who spend time in Israel and would probably agree with a lot of issues that they would talk about, especially as it pertains to America first, bringing jobs back here and securing our borders. But then it's just like every step of the way, it's like, bro, if you live in a world where a single group of people is haunting you, you're trapped. You're not going to get out. The issue is you can overcome anything. I understand, and I empathize that there are powerful business interests that are coming at Kanye. And I will also say this, because I wanted to get into the Trump stuff. When Kanye mentioned he got suspended on Twitter, then he gets word that Milo wants to meet up with him. Then Milo puts him in touch with Fuentes. My immediate, question is, okay, my thought to myself, we really want to know about the inner details of this Trump meeting.
Yes, I
guess it's not going to happen. My question then is, don't you think that, if Kanye is going to say these things and then immediately start getting involved with Fuentes, that only amplifies the accusations made against him? But I guess if they genuinely believe these things, that's who they are.
I was dying to interrupt. I was dying to say a whole bunch of stuff during his, his conversation. I respectively, didn't. I was waiting to counter back, but we didn't even push back at all. Really. Yeah. We didn't even really say anything crazy out there. I mean, come on. Like we should at least have the tough conversations. We should debate these ideas.
What does he think's going on?
And I don't know, but
holy crap! This is big news, guys.
Again, like, hey, you don't agree with me 100%? That's fine. That's okay. I'm not going to run away. like, come on. Let's have this discussion. Let's have this conversation. I really wanted to talk about Balenciaga. I really wanted to talk about Harley Pasternak. I really wanted to talk about Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle talked about a lot of the things that Ye was warning about, specifically with people trying to drug him, specifically with people trying to, of course, get him on big pharma medicines. He was, again, sent to, he was institutionalized a couple years ago, specifically on November 21st, 2016. He's pointing a lot of this blame on this Harley Pasternak guy, who, again, he's the one who's training Lizzo, Elliot Page. He was training Brittany Murphy. He trained a lot of controversial figures, and he is connected to Canadian military psyops. That's we should know what else is happening behind the scenes there, what else he knows. But before the show, we can't even get that.
Before the show, Ye was like, this is funny. He's like, how do I become president? How do you win? And I thought it was a rhetorical question because, why would I know that question? And he was like, hey, man, I asked you a question. What do you think? And I was like, oh.
I'm talking to Osiris. I'm texting Osiris right now, seeing if he wants to,
he brought it up
if he's
when
able to come on.
I said that he would do well with the black vote. I think it's kind of oversimplifying what I said.
Yeah.
What I said was that he's a celebrity. He's a personable character. He appeals to regular people more so. If he knocked on the door and you said Trump, Biden, yay, they'd be like, yay. But I do think that he would do. I do think he would do better with the black vote, simply because there's people who look.
He would do better with the black.
They can see themselves in him.
If he was running as a Republican, he could potentially do better than
That's
Trump
actually more of a leftist position.
Well, okay. He could. He actually could do. If he was running as a Republican and he was the nominee,
what diversity is.
He could.
I think that it's true that if you're a little kid growing up in this country, and you're not white, but all you ever see on billboards and all you ever see on TV is white people, that means something, that has an effect on you. And that's basically what I'm getting to. All I can really say is this. Bro, if I can't ask you questions calmly, like, hey, but don't you think this is like localizing? He could have been like, I don't, I genuinely view it this way. And I'd have said, well, okay, I can only ask you the question. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe. But dude, like, what did I ask him? Like 3 questions about it. And he just got up and left. Like, he's going to come here and just talk and be uninterrupted. Before we started the show, he said, hey, we're doing this show. Why don't we do it every week? Yeah. And I'm like, what is this? Is because you can't get on any other shows? I'm sorry, bro. This is not a show where you come in and talk by yourself and say whatever you want. And say things that are that warrant questioning at the very least.
Yes.
At least for clarification.
Yeah, I mean, everything should be questioned. Everything should be debated. Everything should be
everything should be debated.
We shouldn't stray away from uncomfortable situations. We decide to take things head on. Like, we have our particular viewpoints. They have theirs. It's obviously
did all 3 of them walk out?
We believe in different things. Let's see which idea is better. Right. Let's see which idea wins out in the public sphere. Let's actually have that conversation. And it's kind of sad that we can't.
Well, I think it's funny that like we got people in super chats who are like, why didn't you just let them keep talking and keep talking?
But that's not how the show works. We cut each other off all the time. I just cut you off right now.
I know,
right? This is the way we do this.
Guys, I'm sorry, man. I'm not here to do a show where we
I think Kanye could potentially get as much, if not better, than Trump in the black vote.
And I think
potentially, I'm not saying he would, but it's possible.
Milo had been banned for a really long time and hadn't spoken out in years.
5 years.
Ye's been on a whole bunch of podcasts. So when we were talking about bringing them on, I said, look, man, after the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff, people were like, are you going to get him on the show? And I'm like, I don't want to chase after a dude who, like, he's in the news.
He should get Kyle Rittenhouse on. He should get Kyle Rittenhouse on.
And then I'm like, that's cool. They got those conversations. Then we were told we would get Milo, Fuentes, and Ye at the same time, and we could talk about this big news, because that's what we do. We are a topical news show with guests. We are not Joe Rogan Experience. We're not guest interviews. And so with Milo, we had him on, and it turned into something different because the man's been out of the limelight for 5 years and came back and said Trump supporters want revenge. So here on this show, I don't want to tell you, man, Ye doesn't have to do anything. He owes me no favors. He wanted to come on the show, but he didn't want to have a conversation. Yeah, I didn't disrespect him. We were nice to him. You know, we hung out with him before the show. You know, we tried to accommodate him to the best of our abilities. But he didn't want to entertain a conversation. I can't make him. He doesn't owe me that. He can leave. That's his thing. You know, appreciate him trying as best as he did. That's about it.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, what else can you do, right? I mean,
look. Wow. You know, let me tell you guys some stories, because I guess this is the show now. Welcome to the Monday night show. It was all hype and then all nothing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like identitarianism. I've never been a fan of people who've blamed everyone else for their problems. I remember during Occupy Wall Street, you had people saying it was the 1% that was the cause of their problems.
So,
and I'm like,
I'm curious if Kanye is going to come back. I'm curious.
You've got rich people down here supporting Occupy Wall Street, providing funding. You've got like George Soros money going into these nonprofits that are funding you to complain about rich people. The problem is varying agendas. The problem is varying ideologies. The problem is everyone fighting for power for what they want.
Wow.
In Ye's circumstance, they're coming after him. They're trying to take away his stuff. They're threatening him with institutionalization, and I understand all of it.
So Nick went with them.
It's unfortunate that he's internalized this problem to it is a specific ethnic and religious background that's doing it. And I'm like, bro, it's specific people doing it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Well, we can read super chats.
Well, I think super chats would be interesting to spur on this conversation. But
we made it 27 minutes, and YouTube didn't take it down. You just got up and left.
Yeah, people don't understand. We took a big risk tonight. Like,
it
was my channel, it was your channel, especially on the line, because
just mine too.
We're hosting conversations that are tough, that are not easy to have, that we need to be ready for, that we need to, of course, counter ideas just to let the best idea win. So, you know, with taking this risk, is just unfortunate that it played off the way it did. Again, he doesn't owe us anything, but this just should have done. I just wish it would have went a totally different way. But you can't control individuals, and if someone can't handle getting their assertions questioned,
but why did he get so angry about it?
That's I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's
I don't understand either.
It's not like we were rude. I definitely disagreed with some of the statements, and I was waiting to jump in just to have that conversation.
Well, here's my thing. I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And so when he says a thing happened to me, and I'm like, but who did it? What am I supposed to be like? You've got to. I'm sorry, man. Like the idea that you've got a group of people of this, like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, man. It just doesn't. There's certainly powerful individuals who are friends with each other. Like I said, Bezos, billionaire. Bill Gates, billionaire.
At least
Bill
hope
Gates
Milo
going
comes
on TED
back.
Talks talking about depopulation. You've got, here's an example, Shane Smith, CEO of Vice, Irish-Canadian guy, multi-billionaire, created a woke media empire. So when we're talking about censorship and silencing, and he says back? It's like Jewish or whatever, and I'm like, but what does that mean? Like there's woke entities that are completely white European dudes. Antifa is mostly white European. They're
like Kanye has said
windows.
Stuff that I find a little.
This is the issue of people blaming a group of people
when
the
say
issue
that.
is specific to
I'm really
something
curious.
Unrelated to their background.
There's some stuff I question.
How are you guys
that
doing?
he thinks.
I don't know. I might want to go downstairs and see if we could get him back.
Yeah,
I think it's worth a try.
I'm
gonna try to talk to him, see if we.
I'll
can
read
get him
super
back.
chats.
Yeah, go Luke.
Super chats and
go Luke.
well, that was fun. We're just gonna sit here.
Unless
we'll read some super chats because
unless they left the building already.
You know, it is what it is, guys. We try.
I mean, Luke is right. He has left podcast before and then come back. Sometimes it just takes people, and it's probably a good lesson. It takes a minute to calm down, then you can come back after.
He needs to explain what he means.
Right?
Yeah,
he can't just say it's true. And I'm like, what
he
do you
needs
mean
to.
by
Kanye needs to explain.
It's like, okay, then I assume you have nothing behind what you're saying.
Right.
And I'll tell you what else too, because early on he said like, how do I win? I said ballot harvesting. But I gotta say, man, if this like, why would someone vote for this?
Right.
Yes, why would
in the super chats as well?
Yeah. Someone actually said, why would I vote for a guy who's going to act this way?
Or like trust nuclear codes or something. I haven't read it actually.
Hey,
Anna Claire's here.
Hey,
what?
like this one or
Go over there.
I'm gonna be Kanye.
This is cool. So,
oh my god,
yay.
It's yay.
Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh, did I just dead name him?
Mary's here.
Yes.
That's rough, man.
So what happened? Tell me what's going on outside.
So
I'm
Kanye
curious.
and Milo are
Yay.
Yay.
He is gonna beat me up. So Milo and
I'm curious.
Nick and
They
Yay
all
are
just
departing.
caught a car.
They caught a
and
car.
left.
They're heading out.
Oh,
They
But
don't seem angry, but they just Kanye specifically said that he felt as though he should have been able to keep talking. He feels like not enough people are expressing this view, and he felt like, sorry, I just ran upstairs. I can't talk. He felt like perhaps cutting him off was not a good move. So
Milo felt like you were obstinately not getting the point that everyone in the room was getting.
They weren't explaining it.
Yeah, they
I
were
think
not
that they should
explaining
have
it.
stayed to explain it.
I wish they
think-
had been
I
able to
think
say explain it
Before
because
the show, when I said, guys, I understand you want to talk about that. We have an opportunity to discuss this big news. Can we talk about the news before and then we'll focus on what Yay 24 is and what you want to do. But I think this is the problem with grievance politics. Instead of being like, here's my plan for America, they're the problem.
Yes.
They're the ones doing this. Who? How dare you? Bro, tell me what your plan is.
Yeah,
Tell me what you want to
want-
accomplish.
Yeah.
Tell me exactly what your plan is, other than they're harming me and they're bad
Kanye
people,
couldn't
and I
even
refuse to
didn't
sit and
even
listen to
wa-
anyone who would say
Kanye, when
otherwise.
he was
I
questioned
think one of the
about it,
major
got up and
challenges
left.
About Timcast as a format show is that it's not an interview. It's this thing that I love about this program, which is like, you may be an expert in something, but what we really want is for you to come here and talk about the news with us, talk about current
Yes.
events.
Discuss.
And while, I think we were all really excited to hear more about like all three of these people's perspective on stuff. Like it's hard
They can't help it.
it's not a
They can't help
monologue.
it.
So
It's
I
not.
think
It's not.
hard.
It's not that. It's like, hey guys, can we talk about the news?
Yes.
Before getting into how you feel behind it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But you guys
I
didn't even
understand.
really get into the dinner.
Because he
No.
jumps
The details of the
immediately
dinner.
into he
Yeah.
wants to talk about Jews,
Mm.
and I'm like, are you kidding, dude? And I said, you want to
Yeah.
go right into that? Fine,
Yeah.
whatever. So be it.
Yeah.
But if dude
I don't
can't handle a
understand what he was
conversation
thinking.
about it,
He should have
It's
realized
insane
that,
to me.
that this is a conversation
look,
and being
I'm
asked
not
It's
sure
not-
what
it's
he was
reality.
You can't just
referring
go
to
off
that
and say whatever
happened
you
this
want
morning.
without
Because
without
he found
anyone
out they wanna put him in
anyone
jail.
confronting it,
But what
or
exactly
at least
does that
I'm
mean?
challenging it.
well, it sounds like what he was saying was he found out this morning that they're saying he owes taxes, and that if he doesn't pay them, they're going to lock him up or something.
Okay.
And then the thing that he walked out on was you asked him to clarify who you meant by they specifically. That's pretty.
Oh, right, because I said
You were saying they as in the corporate media.
the
Is it, like, I
establishment,
don't use the
powerful
word
interests.
they the same way that you mean it, and then
He got
Yes.
up and he stormed out.
like,
Yes.
that's basically
That's
it.
crazy.
That's a shame. Like I wish that you guys had gotten to have the conversation you wanted to have.
Yeah,
They don't want to have it.
I
They
feel
don't
bad
have
for
it.
the audience, honestly, because I feel like that could have been a really interesting conversation, and now we're in a position where I am
Yeah.
Yay, and
Who
that's
was
not
sitting
such a-
here? I
Uh,
don't remember who was sitting in the seat.
Nick Fuentes. Was sitting
I'm
there.
Nick Fuentes,
Yeah.
guys.
Don't we look great? No, I mean,
Yeah.
What
What
does he think's going to happen? Does like
He
you know
did
what?
say that he would be back
Tonight.
No, he's not back tonight. Maybe he'll come back on
maybe
the show.
in the future at some
Yeah, I doubt it, dude. I mean, look, man, people.
How did pre-show go? Like, what did you guys? What was the vibe in here
fine.
beforehand?
It was
it
fun.
chill?
It was good.
And we should have just filmed the pre-show because they didn't even talk about this shit.
Yeah.
I'm swearing. We were talking about
At
like
this point, you know.
it was religious philosophy, plans for the future, and I was like,
my
this is really
God.
interesting stuff. I know they have these views, I obviously, and people are texting me about it, and I'm like, okay, here's what we do. They had look, all they did was remove themselves from the conversation.
Yes. That's all
They
they
had an
did.
opportunity to explain what was going on and why. And all that happened is it seemed like Ye came in here and just went for every possible way to make himself look worse.
So, what was like your burning question for this? Like, you knew they would probably bring this stuff up. You knew identity politics are definitely on the table.
But that's why I was like, I want to know what happened. Like, even before they got here, I was like, guys, we want to know about the dinner.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hearing a lot of rumors. I'm hearing that, what was it? Like, Ye asked Trump to be his VP or something.
Yeah.
Why was Fuentes at the dinner with Trump? What did Trump say? Is this true? Trump didn't know he was. Well, he said Trump didn't know who Fuentes was. That's what I want to understand. What is Trump doing? Why is everybody denouncing Trump right now? Is this a legitimate criticism of Trump? Apparently now it is. Apparently, absolutely.
The
Trump-
report that Trump began deriding Kim Kardashian and during that dinner seemed very strange. I have no idea why he would do that.
I feel like there's no way to know about this dinner without the three people who just left this room, which is unfortunate because that kind of dinner can affect so many people, right? There are Americans across the country who will be affected by the conversations they had. I would have loved to see the transparency and kind of know what's
Me
going
too.
on.
I'm very curious what he
And
was
it's
going to say
unfortunate
about
that we
LeBron as
couldn't
well. I'm
progress
very
further
curious.
in that conversation,
Like, this is,
whether or not, we all would have seen eye to eye during it.
I can't believe he got so mad so quick.
Maybe
I
he
didn't see that
wasn't
coming.
mad.
And
He
Kanye
didn't really
thinks he can
seem
run
mad
for
when he
president.
was down there.
Getting
He
mad,
just seems
mad like this, you're not going to become president.
That's so
man.
weird.
I just
I
feel
don't get
like
it, man.
he's someone who has values, and it seemed like he felt like he wasn't, I know he and Luke had sort of gone back and forth. He said, you got to let me finish my thought. Maybe he felt like this conversation was sort of being structured in a way that wasn't letting him express himself.
It's not the format that he's used to. It's just like a one-on-one.
That's what I mean by like I think people aren't always ready to come onto the show because you are responding to current events. You are not being interviewed in a traditional way.
People don't get this too because we've had people on the show who end up not talking about their specialties or anything like that. So like someone might do a show on video games and then come on the show and talk politics.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
that's what we do. So for example, shout out to our good friend Blair White. Blair White pointed out that on the last show we did, she was like, actually, every time you've had me on, we've never talked about trans stuff. And I was like, yeah, we talk current events and politics, and you're an individual who has opinions on it. That's what we do.
I just talked to them outside. They're in the car, and I'm like,
They're leaving.
And I'm like, let's let the best idea win. You don't owe us anything. Let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
And essentially, he said, you don't believe in my truths. Like, this is my truth. You guys are denying it, and I don't want to have this conversation.
That sounds like
wow.
And I'm like, look,
yes.
And I'm like, I disagree with you. Like, and that's okay. It's
But
not
we
the end of
invited
the
you
world.
on knowing you.
And if
We're
you
gonna
think
say
you're
so.
right, explain it to us. That's what I said.
Yeah.
I was just running
That's
up.
what I'm like disappointed
all I
about. I
want.
wanted to hear more from each person at the table about just what they're doing and what their vision is, because even if you don't agree with them, they're really interesting and they are doing some really big things.
Right.
Did he make any suggestion at all that he would come back at
No.
some point?
No, he's like, I don't want to have a conversation with you guys because you guys, essentially don't see the bigger truth of what his. I'm like, those are your truths.
Just because
defend
Nick or
your
Milo
side
say
and let the
anything?
best idea
Stop
win.
please,
Let's at least
Kanye.
continue the dialogue and conversation because people are going to look at you right now and they're going to say you can't have a debate, you can't even have a conversation. That's what I told them.
But he
Did
can't.
Nick or Milo say anything back?
They're just kind of snickering and laughing in the back. It's like,
I mean, Milo said to me-
I'm like, we had this big opportunity right here to have this discussion, to debate it, to talk about it, and they were just like, no, it's not going to work. I'm like, fine, that's all right.
This is disappointing, man. Very disappointing.
It is what we complain about with wokeness and grievance politics.
He was like, I
It's
just
my
want to work.
truth.
He told me he wants to work with me on food. Literally, he's like, hey
Something
man,
that can
I
unite
really
everyone.
want to work with you on the food. But with this stuff, like I'm just done. I don't want to have this conversation.
I feel like it's hard. It's like I want to know what this conversation would have been. I feel like without it, like it's all speculation and it's a real missed opportunity, I think, for everyone involved here. Like even if you feel like you're going to butt heads, we've had guests on who are definitely opposed to both of you at the table, who are definitely willing to push back on the things you're saying, and like it makes the show better. I think it's better for everyone when you have tension in the room.
I'll be right back, guys. I got a phone
Raymond
call.
G. Stanley Jr. says Nick and Milo set up Ye.
Set him up for what exactly?
To walk out of our studio.
To walk out? At least he came at all. There are a lot of leftists, I'm sure, who wouldn't have even sat at this table.
Before the show started, I was calling Milo Lord Varys. And he was screaming, "Don't call me that! Stop it!" And I'm like, "Okay, Lord Varys." And there's an aspect of this that I think is worth kind of considering when it comes to.
Sorry about that, guys. That was a quick call.
The kind of larger things happening behind the
take
scenes
care of that.
But I think it's worth thinking about that. We sadly don't get a preview into.
Well, I had a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about those questions.
I'll answer them on Kanye's behalf.
No, I think I think Milo is a genius. Just because, but Milo's a very, very smart guy, and he's extremely funny, and he's very, very witty. And I think the stupidest thing the establishment did was cancel him. The stupidest thing Republicans did was cancel him because this is Milo's revenge. Milo said on the show last time he was here that Trump supporters wanted revenge. And now the narrative going around is that what's happened with Nick Fuentes at Trump's dinner and with Ye is revenge on Trump because Trump's reeling from this. So you know what I'll do? Let's pull this up. Take a look at this tweet. We'll get some segments out of this.
Yeah.
Igor Bobek. He is a senior politics reporter, Huffington Post. You know we love Huffington Post. He says GOP Senator Thune on Trump Fuentes dinner. That's just a bad idea on every level. Yeah. He's got Frank Thorpe. We cannot tolerate anti-Semitism. It's bad, says Cornyn Blunt. I've been tired about responding about what President Trump did. I wouldn't want to have dinner with either of those guys. Ernst, I think it's ridiculous.
It's going to be.
Every single Republican is now coming after Trump over having done this. And Milo's the one who connected it. So I'd love to ask Milo, you said years ago that you wanted revenge over the treatment that you received after being canceled. Is this it?
He's such an interesting figure for a lot of reasons, but it's hard not to think in the years that they canceled him, sent him back, he just sort of became more powerful and is now acting on some sort of master plan. I mean, this candidacy, Kanye's potential run for president is disruptive to the party. It is the same way that any third party candidate entering a race can siphon off votes. We don't know what will happen if he becomes a stronger and stronger variable in this kind of dynamic. I mean, I know we've speculated about if Kanye moves forward, what happens with DeSantis. Like, they really do control a lot of the narrative right now, and I think a lot of that is to Milo's credit.
I think to respond to my good conservative friends who are messaging me like, Tim, don't have these people on, they're bad people. No. I think you should all invite them on. Because I think if anything is bad for their ideas, it's exactly what just happened.
Yeah. And when he first came here, was sincerely asking like, hey, how do I become president of the United States? I'm like, we're not politicians. we're not, advisors here, but we gave him some answers, but he was asking that question a lot. It does seem like it's something that he seriously wants to, do. Talking to Milo was like, we can't say certain things because of the FCC. But this is what we're, kind of essentially.
How is it that we basically had an hour conversation in this room, the pre-show, as we're getting camera and lighting corrected, and it had nothing to do with any of that stuff.
Right.
Talking about religion, talking about philosophy, talking about, what it means for a potential campaign if they have one. And I'm like, this is cool stuff. This is going to be a good conversation. And then the first thing in 5 minutes, he's like, I want to talk about Jews.
Do you think it's
that first thing out the bat? I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah, come on.
Do you think it's that some people come into interviews knowing like they're gonna ask me about this? Because I'm sure Kanye I'm so bad at this, but I'm sure a lot of people go into interviews, especially when you're that big a figure with a target on your back, thinking like some journalist is going to sit here and get me comfortable and then hit me with one of these questions that makes me look bad. I think in some ways it must be at the forefront of your mind going into an interview, like this is the topic that everyone actually wants me to talk about.
I don't even think you were going to ask about that.
I didn't think you were either.
About what stuff?
About his views on Jewish power.
I told
you were going to
them
mainly ask about the
The
candidacy.
I want to
Like
talk
a
about
topical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I had a bunch of people say to me, Tim, you need to denounce them right off the bat. And I was like, oh, that's so tired. Like, bro, anybody who watches my show and who's honest knows that I don't care for identitarianism, racism, anti-Semitism. But Kanye West is one of the most influential guys on the planet. He's got people who genuinely love and respect him. And he's got a bunch of ideas pertaining to what it means to run for president, what he wants to do, and why he thinks he's the best. So I'm going to talk to him about that. And then I said, even before the show, I was like, who are we kidding, guys? I know this is going to come up, but you know, we'll talk about it. And they're like, we get it.
Well, I think it's like
they never even signed the portraits.
I think it's kind of like when they're skipping protocol. It reminds me of the times that we've had Marjorie Taylor Greene on, right? Some people will hear that you're having her on and say, you can't do that. She's controversial. She does bad things. I don't like her. And ultimately, especially if you have some kind of tension against someone, hearing them out and getting their perspective is the best way to form your opinion accurately. And often, especially I've known with Marjorie Taylor Greene, we've had people be like, I just sort of wrote you off because of all the headlines about you. But getting to hear your side and getting to your perspective has really altered my view. Maybe it doesn't make you a fan. Maybe it does make you a fan.
Hold on. Like all the media that are like deplatform. It's like, was that not a good display of the depth of their ideology? None. Unable to withstand 5 minutes of questions.
Yes.
I wasn't mean. I did not insult him. We talked beforehand. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? I said, I don't use the word they the way you mean. I'm talking about like, and he just gets up and walks out.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't want to hear what I have to say about my ideas, but I have to sit here and listen to him. You know what I think, man? There's a reason why Ye is who he is. They say that celebrities, all of them, tend to have some degree of narcissism. They feel that they should be seen by everybody, and thus they end up putting themselves out more, which increases the likelihood of fame and notoriety. Yours truly included. I don't think I'm exempt for any of this stuff. I'm sitting here putting a camera in my face, talking to it all the time, and I talk a whole lot. But I think Ye is a guy who has risen to this position because he's assertive and because he's willing to do something like that.
Right.
Imagine you're talking to a guy who's got $1 billion shoe empire, and you know that if you say the wrong thing, he's out and you've lost everything. Yeah, he owns the conversation. He does.
Yeah.
So that works for him in business. Yeah. Does not work for him in politics.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a single vote if you're going to storm out, not do anything for anybody.
Right. You know, there's a lot of things to kind of break down and talk about here. I have my own theories and assertions, and if you guys don't go along with it, I'm like, yeah, that's totally cool. That's totally fine. It's not the end of the day. But I think it's also fair to say that he's going through a tremendous amount of pressure, a lot of stress. And I think when he was institutionalized and drugged in 2016, I think there might be still, I don't know here. I'm speculating, maybe some larger effects here. Maybe he still hasn't recovered from that, SSRIs and what was it, lithium that he was talking about? Those drugs have a severe effect on you. It could affect your decision making.
Yes, they truly do.
Well, I don't want to discredit him with that, like the mental health stuff, because a lot of people have said that
I think it's worth discussing.
You can't listen to anything Ye says because he's mentally ill or he's off his meds. All of that stuff is just ad hominem. I think,
I'm not
he's
saying
a 45-year-old man. He's extremely influential, powerful. He can make his own decisions, and I think that he made the wrong one tonight by walking out.
Absolutely. I'm
absolutely
just saying that this deserves
Your
also.
life is really weird, Tim. Today,
you guys are here too. Well, don't look at me.
It's weird for all of us.
we kind of.
I really wish that they had signed the portraits. It really hurts me, my perfectionist brain.
Well, what can you do? But it's not that they were off the meds; it's that they were forcefully put on the meds. And when you look at a lot of people that are forcefully drugged, you do see a lot of long-term negative consequences.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to excuse anything, but I think it's worth a discussion, especially when it comes to this Harley Pasternak individual, the larger effects of this, the threats that were being made against them, the pressure he talked about. Going through a particular difficult, before the show began, a difficult situation with the divorce and custody with children. So again, tremendous amount of
everyone watching. Make sure to subscribe to my channel right here. Please make sure to subscribe because I'm trying to grow the channel.
Didn't happen. Clearly,
please subscribe because I'm almost at 100 subscribers and I need to get to 100 subscribers.
Wait, him walking out, or that you wanted
and share
him
it
to
with your
walk
friends.
Did they have a car ready?
Subscribe too.
They were in the truck.
They were waiting.
No, they didn't have a car ready. I mean, I honestly, as much as I want this conversation, I want it for the company and I want it for the audience. Like I have a piece of, like, I have some respect for someone who's like, look, I'm done. Like, I think so often we are in a culture that demands people continue to talk all the time. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. I am just sad that we didn't get to hear what happened at Mar-a-Lago. I am sad that we didn't get to hear more of these perspectives, because this is such an interesting trio of people. And it was worth hearing. It is worth knowing, because all we can do now is speculate.
Imagine sitting down with Trump too, right? Trump, I don't. He's walked out on some, but I don't think he would walk out like that.
I want to hear his version of events of what happened here.
Out.
Yeah,
because
Trump come on now, because
there's also a lot of other reports.
Bring Trump on. I want to hear
that he was screaming at that particular dinner with
Yeah.
Nick there. That there was a big argument. That there was yelling.
That was the point of bringing these guys on.
Yeah.
Not to like have him opine on his thoughts about an entire body of people that everyone's already heard before.
Right.
That's the crazy thing. He like likened this to a Lex Fridman interview.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, we're not here to talk to you about that. We're here to talk to you about your plans, man.
Yeah.
I told him this before the show, and I say this, you know, I don't think Ye's crazy. Some people are like, maybe he's bipolar. It's like, dude, we were talking to him before the show. He was of complete sound mind.
Totally
Would you do
He's just
something,
emotional.
Like, would you do something different? Like, you led off tonight with a story about Mar-a-Lago. Would you have led off with something else? I mean, I'm just curious, because then you're introducing our format.
This is why I think, you know, someone super chatted saying they think that this thing was staged, a publicity stunt, because walking out generates more press, because it gives the press something to write about. If they didn't storm off, the press would have been like, here are a few things they said. But by storming off, now there's a story about Ye just throwing up and leaving, and that generates press. So it's like,
but it's not positive press if you're looking for political credibility. I think that part of the reason he walked out and he's this emotionally stressed out right now is because he has the soul of an artist and not of a politician, and that's usually a good thing, actually.
Well, if we, you know, if there's one thing we know from Milo, he understands that any press is good press, and he kind of utilizes that to his personal benefit. I don't know, maybe he thought if there was a debate, maybe, you know, things wouldn't have not looked as good here, and I don't know.
I don't think this is staged. I mean, I think we knew going in that we were going to have 5 enormous personalities in this room. Serge, I'm sorry about that one, buddy, but you're much more low key. And that anyone was bound to become more tense. It was a question of how this dynamic would play out. And I'm, again, sorry that it played out this way, because it leaves so many questions on the table. I just don't want to speculate about mental health or the effect of pills, or I don't believe this is staged, but like whatever happened, I just think that it would have been an interesting conversation.
Do you think you want to ask him to come back?
Yeah, ask him
at
to
some
come
point
back.
in the future.
No,
not tonight. But
I'm not going to ask him to come back, dude. He doesn't owe me anything.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to sit on my show. He can leave whenever he wants. So let's.
I hope he comes back at
before
least
the show. I get a
Milo.
bunch of people saying like, "Are you crazy? Don't." The conservatives don't host these people. They're trolls. They're anti-Semitic. How could you platform them? There's Republicans saying like, we don't believe in platforming these people, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like when Antifa showed up to Ann Coulter's thing, I get it. That was more violent, but dude. Don't tell me about deplatforming people that are in the news on a big story, because that means nothing to me. Why are they there? Why are they meeting with Trump? I want to know.
Yeah,
and if you don't want to know, that's on you. But I don't take this whole deplatforming thing. That being said, right now you've got people saying, Tim, you screwed up. It's your fault. Then I've got people saying, wow, you're a crybaby. I've got people saying you handled it masterfully. I got people saying like you did a miserable job. Why didn't you played it wrong? I don't care, guys. There's nothing I can do. I am who I am. Before the show, people were like, have you been preparing? Have you doing research? And I'm like, what does that mean? Like, all I know is I told them what the show is. I told them what the plan is. I said, if you want to talk about that stuff, we should probably save it closer to the end, because we want to talk about the news. It's what we do on this show.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do it. He doesn't have to do it. He doesn't owe me anything. He's a rich guy. He can do whatever he wants. He got up and he left. So be it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So your ultimate goal for this conversation was to talk about Mar-a-Lago. Did you feel like at any point today you got any information or any insight into how that went?
Yeah. Well, we know Ye said Trump didn't know Fuentes. I think that's significant. I mean,
that's still surprising. I thought Trump would have.
Trump a life raft. Right. Trump was reeling from this, being accused of all of these things, and now Ye basically came out and confirmed. Actually, Trump didn't know who he was. I brought him there. Oh, okay. I thought Milo set it up. Ye's like, no, that was me. And then I got in touch with Milo, and Milo brought this guy, and Trump didn't know who it was. I'm like, oh, okay. So, well, okay then.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe that's why they didn't want me to do the show with them, because they were going to realize that Trump actually wasn't at fault.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Possibly. Does it change your opinion of, like, I know you've been following kind of speculation about that dinner and speculation about Ye's campaign. I keep on calling him the wrong name. Does this change like how you feel about this as a potential influence on 2024?
You know what, man? I've heard a lot of people say that Ye could win, and for a lot of reasons. Like I mentioned, because he's a 0% celebrity chance, and regular people know and like him, but not if that's not presidential. Ye's a lot of things. He's a smart guy. They say he's crazy. I'm gonna tell you, we were downstairs calmly discussing things. The dude is not crazy.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Emotional, maybe arrogant. Sure. A lot of high profile people are. You can accuse me of that, I'm sure. And I think what happened now is a display of he doesn't need anything from me.
Right.
He doesn't. And so if he doesn't get what he wants, he's done.
So what do you think of the role of celebrities in American politics today? Like, obviously we've had when Trump ran for office, this is like how most Americans knew him, right? He was the celebrity apprentice. He was a TV host. Like, do we think there is a market in American politics for people who have influence but are not necessarily trained politicians?
Yeah, I just want to add this comment because we were talking about this when it was just it was just me, you, Ye, and I think Cassandra, and he talked about specifically how Donald Trump was like the Michael Jordan of politics because he changed the NBA and made it something totally different. Yeah. And he was specifically referring to how the political game has been changed, how it is totally different, how it's not just, predominantly obeying and worshiping a certain political politician that changes his tone when he's with a certain group. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how this future campaign is going to be unfolding, because right now it doesn't look promising.
I don't know if any campaign will unfold. That's yet to be seen.
Yeah, well, that's not from the information we got from.
I want to give a shout out to Danny Polishchuk. Am I pronouncing your name wrong? Danny. We've had him on the show before. He's a good dude. He's funny. He says crazy that the one thing Kanye has been talking about for 2 months somehow got brought up on the show.
Yeah, I never could have expected it. I don't know.
Yeah, we knew. We knew exactly what was going to come up, and I told them outright. I literally said to them, like, if you guys want to bring that stuff up, I'm not just going to sit there and let you just say whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And they're like, we know. And I was like, and who am I kidding? It's going to come up, but we have an opportunity to talk about the news. And they're like, right. Okay.
So
he didn't want to do it.
How do you,
that's on him.
Like, I feel like people levy against you. Sometimes they'll call you anti-Semitic or they'll call you far right. Yeah. I feel like people they call you negative things. Like, how do you deal with it? If someone was in an interview and was like,
there's a news outlet that tried calling me alt-right and had issued an apology and a retraction.
So you go after
they were like, Tim Pool, who is mixed race, is not alt-right. We apologize for the statements.
So is that generally like if you're in an interview and someone's starting to kind of push back against you, like what's your protocol?
For what? Like if someone accuses me of something that it's not true or whatever?
Yeah, or is like you often talk about this and we don't agree with it.
Okay.
You just let it go?
What am I supposed to say? Like I think it's funny. Gizmodo reported May of, I think it was like 2018, that conservatives were being censored on Facebook. And so then I'm on Twitter like, wow, look at this. Conservatives are being censored on Facebook. And then they're like, Tim Pool falsely believes conservatives are being censored on Facebook. And I'm like, wait, what? I believe what I believe. I said that the Kyle Rittenhouse story was one of the things that convinced me to vote for Donald Trump, because I saw how insane things were getting. And this was so extremely dire. And it was a lot of factors. And then I get the media reporting like negatively that I said that. I'm like, I don't care if you view it negatively. I literally said that. Trump pinned the tweet to his page. It mattered to me. You know, if it matters to me, I'll talk about it.
Yeah. I think like the thing that I've always known from being around you is like there's
protests in China.
Is that because of you?
In China.
Yeah. This? We're so influential. Let's go. No? So we're just like fact checking you.
We're going to put you on The View, Hannah. You better stop right now.
I don't like this at all. No, I mean, what about you, Luke? I feel like people push back on you all the time. Have you ever walked out of an interview?
No. But again, if you're going to say some crazy stuff, be prepared to back it up. Have some facts. You're going to make some claims, back it up. Let's have a debate. Let's have a conversation. Let the best idea win. That didn't happen today, and that just sucks.
Yeah. You know what, man?
I mean, he reacted as if you led the interview like, so you're anti-Semitic.
I know, he kind of he set it up himself from the very beginning. He's like, I don't know if we should do this. I'm just going to do this. And I'm like, why are you setting this up this way?
Like, there was no setup.
To be fair,
his setup.
I probably should have been like, yay, I hear you, man. I respect the story you're getting to. You want to hold off on that for a little bit? Maybe we'll talk about the news and then we can bring this stuff up. He probably would have been like, all right.
I feel like there was a semantic issue here when you use the term they, and then we had everyone sit up and be like,
yeah,
well,
he's like, can we use the English language?
Let's just keep going with the conversation here, team. Let's keep moving on. Like, because that's
who do I mean by they?
We should have been like
a bunch of
no. Like as soon as he said, I shouldn't do this, like, yes, you shouldn't. Stop. Wait. Now, wait. We're gonna be talking about this. Let's hold on.
Or you should have been like,
hold on.
Look,
this is work.
At this time, we usually go to super chats. Right before that, I'll give you a nod, and you can go into whatever you need to talk about.
No, but then it would have. We would have like I would like. There's things that I need to bring up, and other people need to bring up that's counter to some of their ideas that need to be talked about.
He didn't want to have a conversation. He thought he was going to come in here and be able to say whatever he wanted, uninterrupted and unimpeded, and no one would question him. That's just not the real world. Sorry, man. I think Ye is a very smart guy. And you know what's sad? I said too, look, man, I get all that stuff, like the Friedman stuff. It's stupid to keep bringing that up. I had people call me and they were like, Tim, the first thing you got to do when you shut the show is denounce anti-Semitism. And I was like, oh, that's so dumb. It's so tired. And we talked about it and they were like, you think Ye is going to be happy that you're coming out right away and being like, I denounce what you say. And I'm like, everybody knows what he said. Anybody honest knows I think it's bad. I don't agree with him on it.
I don't agree with him either.
Things. And you know what I said? I want to talk about how you've succeeded in business. Because we were talking earlier, and one of the people who work here said, Ye's been able to go into every industry that's rejected him and flip it on its head and sort of take over. And I'm like, I want to hear that. I want to hear how it is that he's so influential. It doesn't happen. So it's like,
it's not every personality who can do that.
Look, I've been to Antifa protests. I was at Occupy Wall Street. Luke was there too. This is the mentality that we have consistently argued against. This is the same, like, you know, for the people who are fans of the show, how many people have stormed off the show? I'm not going to bring up these individuals, but y'all know it's not people who hold logical, classical liberal views, who believe in meritocracy, or who believe in having a good idea. It's people who emotionally believe a singular group of people are the cause of their problems. They can't handle a discussion about it. When you ask someone a question, I'll put it this way. If someone doesn't have an answer to an ideology they assert, they typically retreat to an emotional response. It's a defense mechanism. I'm hurt by this person. How did they hurt you? How dare you deny my truth? A logical person says, well, they robbed my house.
And is there a big difference between someone pointing to all white males being responsible for their problems to what other people making those statements as well? Is there a big difference? I don't think so as well. I also feel partly responsible for this because I told Cassandra to get Kanye on the show. I also was I was responsible for the other guests that also there was almost a fist fight here with.
Leonard, bringing the controversy everywhere he goes.
Listen here, you want to be Hannah Montana.
What?
I feel responsible, so I apologize. It's all my fault.
I don't get it.
I'm sorry to the audience members for bringing
No,
up
I
this.
think
Sorry for party rocking.
My Twitter DMs are lighting up right now from a bunch of high-profile people
that
are commenting like they just destroyed themselves. Like,
it doesn't look good.
They did.
They did not defend their ideas. They couldn't handle, like, here's the thing. I'm getting criticized because they're like, Tim, why were you letting them say those things? They barely pushed back.
But
I got like 10 words out.
No.
They were on for 12 minutes. No,
27.
27. That's true.
27.
No,
That's
but
a good number.
Like,
I like that number.
honestly, that's the mark. Donald Trump, if you come on and can make it to 28,
set the new record.
We'll take it.
You can do it. 29, we basically let you stay in Tim's chair.
Man.
No, but I think that's one of like the best things that could have happened in this scenario. Like if it was inevitable, if we were doomed to have him walk out, I don't believe it was staged. The best thing that you could have offered them was a platform. Like that dinner is so interesting. So many people want to know what happened, and so many people want to hear from them. Like this is a chance to get that side, and it was presented to them. Like you platformed them for them to be themselves.
But the truth is, they don't like. It's true what Tim said. They don't need this platform. They could have used it to their advantage nonetheless, but they didn't need this platform. He could have gone on any social media and said what he needed to say about the dinner. But it's specifically the format that it's a conversation that matters. And yet the expectation was a monologue. Well,
and it's the news. Like that was one of the things I was really excited about, was to like have you pull up the stories about like what's going on with the World Cup and hearing, Ye respond to them, because it's pursuing a political platform. Like I'm sorry to do this. I don't know a ton about his positions on things. So it really would have been interesting to hear someone who is potentially pursuing an office like that give his perspective, because I'm sure that's interesting. Like Kanye is a really interesting person. He's a really unique thinker, and I think that is what we were all excited about tonight. Like, we just want to know how, like, when Ye reads the news, how does he come out of it the other side? I don't know.
I'm reading
Leonard's smirking over here. I don't know what's happening.
I'm reading the chat room right now, and every time I read the chat, I have a great time.
Well,
most of the time I'm on this show. I'm usually snickering in the corner here, reading all the chats.
We don't see about Lewis is like he has 3 different screens up, and you can see the chat going on one of them.
I got an idea for a segment.
What is it?
Oh, we're still doing news?
Yeah, okay. Hold on.
We're still rolling.
Let me see if I can find this story.
You're doing great, buddy.
Hold on. Give me a second. You guys talk about stuff while I search for something.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm gonna sit here and present my own thought. I think we should have another 3-guest show. I think that, of course, we should have Lucas here back, but then we should have Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Taylor Swift. I know that's important to all of you. It's important to me. I like to have a diverse.
That would be an amazing chemistry.
I just really feel like we could all learn something about the cross section of American culture if we brought.
I think that Taylor and Elon would have some beautiful babies.
Do you think he's asked her? Do you think he's been like?
Oh yeah,
we got a segment for first thing tomorrow morning from Breitbart.com. Kanye canceled by Kanye walks out of Tim Pool interview and asks to defend his anti-Semitism.
They already have it on Breitbart.
I mean, the bias
so
But like, here's the crazy thing about it. I was like letting him speak about it. I said, okay, if that's me. So some people are like, Tim, you should have just let him speak. And Tim only wanted to talk about Trump because Trump's a safe subject and he was scared about being banned. And I'm like, we said, okay, we're going to talk about it.
Right.
But let him start talking about it.
See,
you also weren't like defend your anti-Semitism.
No,
that wasn't what you asked him to do.
No. It would have been a conversation that would have exchanged different ideas. There was different ideas coming from different points of view here that obviously would have clashed. The audience could have decided which idea is better. Me and Tim were sitting here with some of, let's be honest here, some of the smartest, most intelligent, most creative minds in the entire political, social industry. And we were ready to have a conversation. We were ready to challenge our beliefs, their beliefs, and to come up with a discourse. We came here for that conversation. The other side left. And
I just feel like
I don't get it though. I don't get it.
Yeah. See, that's what I think the thing is. Like, I think the accusation of being anti-Semitic is so radioactive that it puts everyone involved on the defensive, both the people who want to respond to the accusation and the people who are levying the accusation. And I can only imagine in Kanye's position that you are, or in Ye's position. I am so sorry, Ye, that you are tense to be prepared to respond to it because you're on the you are on the defensive all the time.
And I want to shout out, hey, Greg Price. Wrong. He says, Ye got up and left the Timcast studio less than 10 minutes into the show. Not true. You tweeted it at 8:25, bro. The show went live at 7:59.
Yeah.
It's 26 minutes, 25 on the clock, but it is what it is. I thought we were going to have that conversation. And I thought Ye wanted to actually like defend his position on it.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping
if you're
for.
going to make some claims, back it up.
Well, and like, what would you have liked to have heard from him? Like, how would you
look? My view on it is
to present it.
So Kanye and Nick, they all left. So probably should have ended it not long right there. So all right, guys, I'm going to end the stream right here. All right. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with your friends and turn on notifications so we can beat the YouTube algorithm because my channel is shadow banned like you know what, and we need to undo that. Like I said, please subscribe to my channel. I'm at 98 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. So please, if you're not subscribed to this channel, subscribe. Please just subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. All right. Also, make sure to follow me on all the other social media platforms and follow me on all the other podcast platforms as well. All right. This is Ray, the host of the Ray Infinity Show podcast. This has been episode number 84. Catch you guys later.